Hey guys, today I have my July wrap up with you. I read a total of 5 books and 2 comic books during the month of July, and most of these do have full reviews, so those will be linked down below if you're interested in getting just a little bit more of my thoughts and opinions on them. Otherwise, today will just be a quick little overview, and all but one doesn't have a full review, but that is going to come soon, so definitely check back, subscribe, and let's jump into them. First, we have The Choices We Make by Karma Brown, and this was such a fantastic read. It was very emotional, very powerful, and it has a topic that isn't as talked about yet, so I felt like that was a really great addition to being able to just talk about it and learn about it, because I felt like there was some stuff that I didn't really understand much about or really, kind of grasp that this is what people actually have to go through. And it is about two best friends, Hannah and Kate, who are both married, and Kate does have 2 kids of her own, and Hannah just hasn't been able to get pregnant. So when Kate offers to be their surrogate, it's this whole process of motherhood and parenthood and friendship and love, and it was just so beautiful and so emotional and just very insightful. I gave this a 5 out of 5 and really recommend that you add this to the rest of your summer list. It was just really beautiful, powerful, and I loved how invested I was in these characters and their story, and it was just amazing and, like I said, thought-provoking, and I definitely recommend it. Then I had You Will Know Me by Megan Abbott, and this is a story about the Knox family, and their daughter Devin is this gymnastics superstar, and they're pushing to get her to the Olympics and to be the senior elite. And in the meantime, the mix of all of this and the dedication this family has to the sport, there ends up being a death that just rocks this gymnastics community, and things begin to unravel, and it was gripping, it gets under your skin, it was very entertaining. I do wish some of these reactions would have been just a tiny bit more realistic, but it did keep me guessing for a little while. I did narrow it down to 2 characters and couldn't figure out which one I was kind of bouncing between the 2, so it definitely was a little bit predictable, but really gripping, really kind of, like I said, unnerving. It was just very creepy, and I really did enjoy this. I gave it a 4 out of 5, and if you're looking for a suspenseful read, definitely check this out. Next is Swear on This Life by Renee Carlino, and this book, oh my gosh, you guys, I am so obsessed with Renee Carlino's writing and her stories. I definitely am going to go back and read some of her earlier work, because I read Before We Were Strangers earlier this year, and I know you guys are probably sick of me talking about it, but it's so good. I wasn't sure if it was going to live up to, or this was going to live up to Before We Were Strangers, and it blew me away. So I love them in different ways. I did give this a 5 out of 5 as well, because it's just got a touching story. It really makes you feel things, and it is about a girl who has this very haunting past, and she's done everything to bury it and keep it at bay. And when her long lost one true love kind of resurfaces, it throws her whole life into a spiral about who she should be with, and so it kind of becomes this story about her trying to figure out who she is, who she wants to be, and in the meantime this past is being resurfaced and how she's dealing with it. And it was just absolutely beautiful. It was heartbreaking, it was hard to read, and yet I loved it so much. The love story was adorable and so perfect, and I just loved Jace. And so yeah, I definitely recommend this as well. Next is So Close by Emma McLaughlin, I believe, and Nicola Krauss. These guys actually wrote The Nanny Diaries, which I haven't read, but I saw the movie and really enjoyed it, and was really actually excited to go ahead and read something by them. And I loved the writing. I easily fell into this story, and I couldn't put it down once I got going. I'm not sure if I was totally blown away and absolutely in love with it, but I did give it a 4 stars, and this is the one that I haven't done a full review on yet, but I definitely will be, because there's a lot to talk about in this. It raises some issues, again, kind of like The Choices We Make with infertility, so I thought that's something that is really eye-opening to me. And then again, there's some relationships in here that I just thought were really well done. So Amanda is our main character. She is from a very broken home, and it was actually really sad to read about that part of her life and how she was trying to break away from it and get out. And when she finally fell into this role working for, he was a senator at the time, and then kind of work his way up to vice president and the presidency and all of that. And so it was very interesting to see the campaign side of things and how busy she was, and that she was working her way up, had a great job, finally got an apartment, had a good car, all of that. And then she meets Pax, and of course that was a whirlwind love interest, and things start to develop further down the line. So just it was just beautiful to see her grow as a person, as a character, and yet dealing with this past. And I just felt like it was just down to earth and very real and honest, and I really did enjoy this so much. So again, I will be doing a further in-depth, more collected thoughts, and I hope you guys will subscribe and check that out later. I gave this a 4 out of 5. The last book for July was The Regulars by Georgia Clark. This is about 3 best friends who are all in their 20s. They are all living in New York, and again, they are all average and beautiful in their own way, but when they happen across this potion called Pretty, they become these drop-dead gorgeous models, and things turn around for them. Things start happening, you know, different things within their job, and they're getting these opportunities that they didn't have before. And so it raises this question about what would you do if you had these opportunities and if you could stay this beautiful. But I also think the most perfect part about this whole thing was how entertaining it was and how it raised awareness for society's beauty standards. So I really appreciated that it was raising a lot of awareness for that and talking about things and kind of pushing back against the media about what beauty really is or what beautiful in terms of, you know, everybody is. And so I really did enjoy this. I also have a full review of it, so definitely check it out. I go a little bit further in depth on my thoughts on that in particular, but I would love to hear what you thought. Like I said, I gave this a 4 out of 5. It was so entertaining, so funny, and I like that it made you think too. The next 2 are comics that I read, and I don't want to go too far into depth because I'm going to add them to a comic review a little bit further down the line. But the first one was Paper Girls Volume 1, and I just was not as wowed with this as I wanted to be. So I'm kind of disappointed in it, but I will continue with Volume 2 eventually just to see if things come together or get better or if I end up liking it a little more, because right now I'm not digging the whole alien time travel. I mean, it's almost too much layered in. If it would have been one or the other and kind of stuck with something, maybe it would have been a little stronger. I don't know. I just didn't love it as much. This was a 3 out of 5 for me. Then I have Miss Marvel Volume 2, and while this one did kind of pick up on the action and the story, it did get a little bit better in those aspects, but I still just wasn't blown away. So I did give this a 3 out of 5 again. I did like that we have Kamala, who is this female teenage character who's got these, you know, powers and has become one of these Avengers of types, and she's battling things and taking on people. And I liked the themes that it brought up between, you know, our generation and what's happening with the future, as well as the diversity that is in it and the fact that it's okay to ask for help. So I definitely appreciated all of that. But again, this series just hasn't been wowing me like I thought it would, so I did give this, again, a 3 out of 5, and I will continue because I'm really hoping it's going to pick up, but if it doesn't soon, I might be done. Alright guys, so as I was starting to put a few things away, I realized that there were 2 other comics that I read this month and forgot to share with you. I Hate Fairyland by Scotty Young, and this one was referred to me by my friend on Instagram, and I don't think I ever would have picked this up voluntarily, even though it would have definitely caught my attention, because this cover alone, like this little girl, is just cracking me up. So this is actually about this little girl, and her name is Gertrude, and she falls into this fairyland when she is like 6 or 7, and 27 years later she is still there, trying to work her way out, and it's just this awesome, gruesome, hilarious, you know, battle of her trying to survive there and trying to get home, and it's just really funny, and I definitely enjoyed it. Wasn't really prepared for everything, so I'm really glad it has these vibrant colors and everything, because otherwise I think it would have been a little overwhelming with how gruesome it could be, but it was definitely funny, and there is some strong language, and this was, like I said, just really caught my attention, and I was flipping through very quickly, and I am so excited and I want more, so I can't wait for Volume 2 to come out in a trade paperback, and I will definitely be grabbing that and continuing on. So thank you so much to, I believe it was Lacey that referred this to me, so thank you so much because I just really enjoyed it, and I think more people should read this because it needs to fill up my feed a little more and get some more discussions because it just had me cracking up. I did give this a 5 out of 5 and hope that you will pick it up too if it sounds somewhat interesting to you. And the last comic is Sweet Tooth Volume 6, and this is one that concludes the series, so I was excited to get to the end. Also a little sad. I was, you know, punched in the gut because there was something that I knew was going to happen that was coming. I wasn't totally satisfied with how everything did come to an end. I felt like they kind of brushed some of the questions that I had just under the rug, and I really needed more answers, but they did leave it with a somewhat satisfying ending and gave you a nice happy kind of bow on the end of everything. So I do feel like that was kind of a nice touch. I did give this a 5-star just because the whole series overall was awesome. Otherwise, individually, this one probably would have been more of a 5 just because there was still something really missing that I was hoping was going to be there and just wasn't. But like I said, very satisfying end to the series, and I definitely recommend the series if you haven't picked it up. My husband and I both loved it. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I can't wait. I have a TBR that is coming, and I'm currently getting ready to go pack for Rio, so stay tuned so you can see what books I decide to take with me on the trip and what I will be reading in August. Let me know what you guys read during the month of July, or which one was your favorite read. Mine definitely would probably be Swear on This Life. It was just so good, and I hope you guys will read it and let me know what you think as well. It is out on August 9th, so pre-order. I will leave that below. Run and grab your copy and just read it because it's beautiful and amazing, and I can't recommend it enough. It's so good. Alright guys, have a great day. I will see you next time. Bye. Hi, a bit more realistic. Most of these I